On my way back from the Meadows, man, soft entries this week with the stake horses not racing. We only had one horse today. We had Looks Like Money. He got the job done. He was a winner today. Now, it wasn't the Open, but he looked very, very good in winning. You know, I looked at the timer going back to the winner's circle. I missed it going under the wire. I'm like, 55-1. It felt like he was trotting his butt off down the lane. We come 29-3. I looked at a couple of the other races, and then I drove in the race right after it. The track is just flat. It just feels like the horses, they're on a beach, like they just can't make any speed. The track looks good, and it just, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels dead. Anyway, it Looks Like Money raced very good. I thought, you know, as I said, those aren't open horses by any means, but they're not slouches either. They're not pushovers. I was really happy with the way he raced. Now, the only disappointment of the day, I guess, was, well, twofold. One, we got some blood work back. Freedom Hill, her differential was flipped, meaning she is sick or getting sick. I don't think she's getting over it because we haven't seen a lot of it. So I think she's a little bit sick. She's going to have to miss at least a week, if not two. And then even more disappointing was the blood work on Arrowhead Hanover. His GGT is actually quite high. So I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, maybe Dr. Latessa, I don't really know. I know you can't move those numbers very quickly, but I was looking for his thoughts on it. You know, he was optimistic because he is, but guarded. And then the draw comes out and he draws 8. You know, the industry, we talk about this all the time. It's all about timing, right? He trained good this morning. You'd never know there's anything wrong with him. You don't really see where that GGT plays a role until you get to racing speed, top speed. If I had to come off the track, then you say, what do you think? He's ready to rock this weekend. He feels awesome right now. And then I open up the blood work and it said a GGT of 88. But just to put that in perspective for everybody. And I will say this, I'll start this with a caveat. Every horse is different. We've had horses that have somehow raced okay with elevated GGTs, but I would say it is rare that would happen. The level in the blood work is 0 to 37. All the horses you saw when Uncle Danny and Supermine were flat and their livers were high, it was like 52. Arrowhead Hanover's is 83. I thought it was 88. It's 83. It doesn't matter. It's 83. Very, very high. So, as I said to one of my partners on Arrowhead, hope. That's all I can do. 1, he drew 8, and 2, his blood work didn't come back that good. So, not what I'm hoping. You know, somebody said to me, they said, oh, what is it this season with our horses? It isn't our horses. It's horses in general. There isn't a stable around that I'm aware of that isn't affected by this. And you can call it and say environmental. Absolutely. That's a pretty big umbrella we're using. Environmental. Yeah. It's environmentally active in Ontario, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Kentucky, Ohio. 2 years ago we raced horse in Australia. So I it's very difficult for me to get my head around it, but it is what it is. So I guess really the only word is one that I do not like to use with respect to racing horses, and that's hope. So we'll see. Everybody else seems good except for Freedom Hill. We figured out what was wrong with her. I just said her differential is flipped. Now, I can't tell you the breakdown of that, but she's sick. How's that? Something in her blood is making her a little sick, or she's a little sick and it's showing up in her blood, I should say. She's going to need at least a week off. Now, this makes it difficult to put her in the sale, so I did not. Now, the one horse, perfect example, Resolve Indeed. Her GGT was 70 or 73, and she was terrible. Terrible. I did put her in the sale Monday, and I will post her blood work for everybody because everybody's going through the same thing. But with Freedom Hill, it makes a little sense. She still has a couple of stakes left in Ohio and racing left in Ohio. So a little different situation. You know, I had a couple of clients this week try to make cases for Riding the Rodeo and Resolve Indeed to stay. Somebody said Resolve Indeed can do in the Prospect Series, which not really. No, she can't. She's competitive in the Prospect, yes. But the Prospect Series, one, she isn't one of the best. She's competitive. Two, they don't go for very much money, especially when you factor in the US dollar. And three, there's no guarantees there either. She raced in a Prospect where she was no good. Not that long before we took her over here. I'm a little surprised that she has been racing poorly, but again, there's that liver count, and it's not nearly as high as Arrowhead Hanover's. So that's frustrating, but I did put her in the sale anyway. I'll post her blood work with her and the pictures just to, let everybody know that here's what I'm telling you. I guess the reality is, we could keep her, but ultimately she's competitive in a lot of classes, a lot of places, but she's just not. She's not the type of horse right now, anyway, where we can put her in, and know she should be one of the better horses in that particular outing. I've told everybody, this is the time of year we're going to try and bring some new horses into the barn, some fresh blood, so to speak, and move out the horses like Resolve Indeed. Now, I'm sure she'd race great for somebody somewhere. She's just not going to stay here. I have 6 horses on the list. Some of these horses are going to surprise you. Patrick the Piranha is on the list. I'm going to start moving out the middle condition horses too. I hate racing up and down that ladder. Somebody messaged me and said, Anthony, you make good money racing up and down the ladder. Sure, you race 35 times a year. You waste a third minimum of the starts. You have 20 starts to make money. If you have a quality horse, you'll make money. Yeah, I'm sure you can. But if that horse finds it tough, the higher they get up, say they get up 5th class from the top, and they find it tough, well, that just leaves you 1 or 2 classes at the bottom to race in. I just have no interest in doing it. None. And I know there's going to be people out there who make arguments for it. I'm not doing it. If you have a perfect example, is Looks Like Money today, down in the non-winners at 5,500. He is an open trotter. A couple of bad trips, a couple of bad races, all of a sudden you see yourself dropping down the ladder. He's going to work his way back up into the open. I got no problem with that. But when they can't do the open, or the class below, or even the third sometimes, it makes it tough. Patrick the Piranha is as shiny as a seal right now. He looks great. And he'll probably win on Saturday, truth be told, or be very, very close. But that's the non-winners of 4,900. Then he's got to go back up into the non-winners of 8 where he can do. But then when he gets up into the non-winners of 9 and 10, it gets a little tougher. We're going to try and find the horses that have always been the ones that butter our bread, right? Non-winners of 1 through non-winners of 10 and open horses. Or strictly claimers. If you can find that unicorn like Delicious Stone DK where you can fit and put them in there and race them, for some reason no one claims them. Perfect. Very difficult to find that horse. So we got Patrick the Piranha, we got Resolve Indeed, Steph's Hope and Riding the Rodeo. They're in there. I know I faced I had a lot of emails from people that just said, I love going to watch Riding the Rodeo race. I like her. Listen, I understand it. And honestly, every time we sell a horse like Riding the Rodeo that people travel all over Ontario to watch, of course it's problematic. I get it. I don't disagree with you. But we are trying to put our horses in the best place to make money and race and win, get some pictures, have some fun. And I know everybody's going to say, I love watching her race. Well, she goes out there and finishes 6th and 5th and 7th and 6th and 4th. You're not going to love watching her race anymore. I don't care how much you say you are. And I do not want to race horses like that. We have a big enough stable and we have the ability to buy and race competitive horses. That's exactly what we're going to do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He's a Fearless Peter. I don't have to make an argument for him. break last night. That sealed his fate. He's in the sale on Monday. And I think that He's a Fearless Peter with his gait, if he matures and grows up, could be a decent overnight horse. Could be a really good fair horse. Might even be a middle-of-the-road Buckeye horse. But he's not for us. So He's a Fearless Peter's gone. And the last one, Gaslight Hall. Gaslight Hall fits. He is guaranteed a spot mathematically from what I see, unless they fill a bunch of gold classes, which they haven't done all year. Mathematically fits the Ontario Sire Stakes Super Final. The $300,000 final. He's in it. He's decent right now. You know, he's starting to show the wear and tear of a long year, right? He's not without his maintenance work, but a nice horse. He's going to race on Sunday, and I think he'll be in on Sunday. I haven't checked the entries yet. He'll likely be in on Sunday, likely race very well, and then we'll put him up for sale on Monday. He's just not going to, we can't race him all the way through the year, right? I want to continue to make room for horses that are going to make those impacts. We talk about the immediate ones. And I know I'm going to get emails from people saying, Anthony, well, why can't we do this? Well, why can't we do that? One of our friends, a friend of mine, a good client of ours, said, Anthony, why isn't Gaslight Hall in the grassroots? Because he's a fringe player. Why would I ship him all the way home to be the fourth best horse on the track? I told you, I'm not sending 8 and 10 to 1 shots on the track if I can help it. It just it doesn't service anybody doing that. Not the horse, not the stable, not you, not me, not anybody. We bought 3 horses that were going to make immediate impacts, and they did. All 3 of them won their first start. And then the other horse came back last night with second, just narrowly defeated in the Open. Raced great. Thought the horse looked very, very good. Winter Soldier raced huge. You know, they wrote the Open on Tuesday last night. Then they wrote it back for Sunday and called and said, hey, you want to race the horse? I said, no, we're not. I said, Jason, I don't want to race the horse 5 days back. You know what we'll do? Get some vet work on him, and he can race the following Sunday. But I'm not racing him 5 days back. So Winter Soldier's going to miss a week. So we have 6 horses entered in the sale. Gaslight Hall, He's a Fearless Peter, Resolve Indeed, Riding the Rodeo, Steph's Hope, and Patrick the Prana. Those horses are in the sale on Monday. As I said, we were talking about the immediate impacts. We will be, Friday morning, I'm going to train up Allure very, very tight. She'll be in to go next Wednesday at Northfield Park. That's where she will be racing. We have a number of horses on our radar to purchase, or try to purchase over the next 2 days. So you may be busy, but I would suggest, if you're looking for good horses and waiting for the next one to come into our stable, I would not miss the next few videos if I were you. I might be wrong, we might not get any of them, but we're going to try. Now, today, we also dropped the buckets today. I got thinking about it last night, and I said, well, the whole point of having a flyer bucket would be to have a value-based bucket that people could get into that wouldn't cost them a lot of money. And rather than try and put 5 and 6 horses into a bucket that would cost people money, I said, why don't we just chop it in half? Have 2 buckets. Well, 2 flyer buckets. Trotting filly bucket, likely 2 or 3 more. 2 or 3 fillies in that bucket, 70,000, 80,000. Flyer bucket A, which I suspect will have 3 horses in it, 50 to 60, and those will be like a mathematical puzzle. You guys know, if you've been with us, you know what I'm trying to do. Trying to fit the horses in where they belong. Bucket 3 will be the main bucket one. I suspect we'll likely have 3 horses in there. These will be 3 horses on my list, or Amy's list, or John's, or Randy's, or Steve's, or Jim's. Somebody's list is going to have these horses on them. This will be a very surgical bucket. This is what we want. This is what we're willing to pay. We can get it for less, great. And then bucket 4 will be like another bucket, a B flyer bucket. Just a couple of horses in their teens, likely. A couple of flyer buckets makes all the sense. You know, somebody said, I don't understand the concept behind a flyer bucket. Well, these are horses that I have priced. Now, when I go to the sale, there's 270 or 80 horses in the Ohio sale. going to price them all. There's going to be some that we are going to go after, those horses. There's different groupings, right? Horses that we're all going to go to the sale, all the group that goes with us. And by the way, you're all welcome to come to the sale if you want. Walk around with us, talk with us. I have no problem. Please do not hesitate to say, I don't want to bother you, but you're not bothering me. You are our clients. We would love to have you out at the sales, and you're more than welcome to. So these will be horses we're walking around. Everybody's going to have their favorites. We're going to talk about the horses, what we liked about them, what we didn't. There will be a list penciled in of horses we're looking for at a price we're looking for them at. But make no mistake, all those other horses that we liked, which ends up being a big chunk of the sale, that all falls on money, what they cost. That's how we ended up with Supermind. Quite frankly, it's probably how we ended up with Uncle Danny. Definitely how we ended up with Megan, who I think is going to be a decent filly. There's a number of horses that fit in there, and that's how we ended up with them. So I could call it a number of things. I call it a flyer bucket because it's maybe even a little more based on value than the regular run-of-the-mill horses. These are horses I just look at as the hammer's about to drop and say, this horse should go for a lot more than this. And that's how we usually end up with those flyer type horses. We've looked at them all. We've decided a price on them all. And that's how we end up with those horses. Now, if we fill up all these buckets, we'll have, let's say, 3 trotting fillies, maybe 2. So let's say 3. 3 will be in the flyer bucket 1, that's 6. Main bucket of 3, that's 9. Next bucket of 2, that's 11. We have 4 in the field, that's 15. Seems like a pretty good plan to me. Somebody messaged me this morning and said, Anthony, I love the idea of I want to be involved if you get a high-end horse that you think is one worth more than it is, but still a fair amount of money that's going to, a fair chunk of money. I want it. I get it. Lots of you do. And I told everybody, I trust the process. I trust our clients. And if we happen to buy one of those horses, I'm going to put them up, those shares up for sale, stand alone. And we can all be involved together. So that's the plan. The buckets are up. You know how the buckets work. I know there's mid-90s right now, but there are going to be some of our clients that are Ohio clients that are going to grab 20%, and 15%, and 8%, and 5%. And by the 12th of September, those buckets, I assume, will be gone. There's no reason they shouldn't be. I'm trying to make it as easy as I can for everybody. So I suspect they will be gone. Just so everybody knows, I'm going to forewarn everybody so we're all on the same page. And then after that, if there are shares available, probably a 48 or 72 hour window, everybody that owns the bucket shares will be first come, first serve on the remaining shares also. That's only fair. That's how we've done it in the past, and that's how we're going to do it this year also. So there you have it. If I've made an error, please point it out. Let me know. Ask me any questions you want. But I believe that is the very best way to handle the situation. So now you know about the sale. I'll talk a bit more about the sale. As the days tick by. The sale in Ohio, the sale coming up Monday, the virtual sale, the preferred sale. We have 6 in. You guys know who they are now. I will talk about them also as the days tick by leading to Monday. But we are going to continue to reassess everybody right now, especially this time of year, and try and look at who is a fit right now, who is not, because every day I go on and look at the further on gate or had people calling me. We are going to be able to replace these horses that kind of do or can't do with horses that can right now. And that's the plan. So, with that, I'm going to let you go. I hope you guys are having a good day. To all my partners, looks like money was great. I wouldn't read too much into 29 and 3 or 55. Trust me when I tell you, the track just seems dead. I don't know how to explain it. It just is. But he was good. Very good today. Now, as somebody else pointed out, I have 12 drives tonight. I don't know how the hell that happened. I'm going to be one tired puppy come tomorrow morning. But it's not the end of the world. Things could always be worse. I'm happy with the way things played out today. I'm happy with the way the horses have trained. I am disappointed with the blood work in Arrowhead. I am disappointed with the draw of Arrowhead, but that is racing. And as I said to my buddy Greg and all my partners out there, it's not his last race. Yes, I know it. They go for 50,000. I see the program. It's not his last race. He'll bounce back. That level will come down. It's just going to take a lot of very, very diligent, hard work. So, there you have it. You're all caught up. We'll talk to you soon. I hope you're having a great day wherever you might be. I hope the weather is great. It is here. Take care. Talk to you all very soon.